Rolling.
Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to the next installment. I was going to do the legs this time, like laying out the leg joints and cutting them. However, it's kind of late where I'm at now. So I'll do something a little bit more quieter. But here I already got some of the legs done. This notch right here is where the bottom shelf's going to be. And these are where the runners or the skirting, whatever you want to call them, are going to fit in. Okay, so I got 3 of them done. I left one undone so I could show you. But anyway, the table going to have 2 panels. This is the top panel. It is 20 inches by 16 inches. And there's going to be a bottom shelf that's going to be 16.5 by 12.5. And I'm going to show you how to lay that out now. Now, if you know, a 2 by 12 isn't even a true 12 inches. It's actually a little under 1.25 inches. And we need 12.5, so if it was a true 12, it wouldn't be wide enough. So we're going to have to do a glue up. So there's a couple different ways you could do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a little over half the length of what I need, rip it, then cut it in half, and glue them up that way. So first, I know my final dimension is going to be 12.5 inches wide. So I'm going to rip this to 6.5 inches. And I'll show you why later. Okay. I mark 6.5. And this is one way of doing it. And then I'll mark 6.5 again. And taking it off this side will get rid of that big old knot, so I won't have to worry about it. Now, if you have a straight edge that's long enough, you could lay it down and just draw a line between those 2 pieces. If you don't, another way you can do it is to take your combination square here and then set it to 6.5. Okay. And then draw it all the way down. Now for when I did the tabletop, I actually got my 6-foot lever and just connected the 2 pieces. But that's not something I told you to get for your toolbox. So I'm not going to use that. I'm just using the combination square. Okay, I got my line. Now I'll set it up so that the piece I want is going to be supported on the bench, and the part I don't want will be sitting out and fall away. Okay. There we go. Now I'm going to take my saw here to start and put down the line. Okay. And you can see there's a little bit of binding action. That's because of, you can see there's a lot of knots. Where there's knots, there's a lot of swirly grain. I've seen these things pinch up radial arm saws, table saws. So if you want, you can use this two-handed grip. Get off my line there. Okay, and we'll save this for later. We will actually use this for a later date. And now, I'll take this, and now I will cut this in half. Okay. Now this is 4 feet, so I will have more than enough to play with, which is good because there are some defects that didn't rip out. Like I have a big old check down here, so I will simply measure down here. Okay. Now, so I'll measure 2 feet because that's half the length. Okay. And this might seem a little bit excessive. However, it allows you, this is something you're really going to, unless you're just gifted, you're really going to need when you're first starting out. It gives you room to play. It's better to leave it extra long and extra wide and work down than get it almost dead on and then find that you don't have enough room to correct any mistakes. I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect and I will make mistakes. Let me just double check here. That's at 2 feet. All right. And now I'll take it over here. Watch out.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Whatever type of bench you have, you'll have to use the work holding methods that are best for that. Okay, now these are the 2 pieces I'm going to glue up then. And now, in case you're wondering why I didn't straighten this before I cut it in half, because here's why. I'm assuming you haven't seen the series where I built a toy chest, where I had done glue up panels before. So I'm assuming you don't know, but when you're jointing boards to glue up, you don't have to worry about keeping them square, because whatever, even if you're off on an angle, as long as they're straight, once you flip them up, they'll actually go together to form a nice tight line. So there is no need for me to, joint the whole edge before this. Okay. Okay, that wobbles. If you remember, I said that this does not want to get tight. I have literally stood on the lever and put my full weight on it, and it still does not get tight. So I'm just going to grab this as a little extra. And I do have some wedges for down at the bottom. I'm just not using them at the moment. So now that it's in, I want to make sure I get a nice. Starting out, I want to get a really good cut so I can advance the cutting iron out a lot further than I would normally. You don't have to worry about, okay, now, there you go. You don't have to worry about, I got it clogged, no big deal. All you gotta do, ease up the pressure on the, oh, I really got it clogged. Well, this is actually a good thing to show you. If you do get your plane clogged, all you gotta do, unscrew your cap iron, get all that stuff out. Get it to where you need. I don't get it too tight since it's for general purpose, so I don't get it like smooth, plain, tight. Alright, that's done. Put that back in. Now, readjust that. And just, that's still ready. There you go. There we go. In case you're wondering, I was told that the best way to join an edge so you don't get the banana hump is to play like you're scooping ice cream. So, like you're actually trying to hollow it out. And that the plane's length will actually prevent that from happening. And that's what will keep it straight. Because you may not need it square to the face, but you'll need it straight. It's a technique that works well on a joiner plane. Doesn't work so well on a jack plane. But it does work, and it is what I use to joint the other panel. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to flip these up. And as you can see, it nosedives at the end. It's not tight. It's okay. If it's only off at that end, fine. I'm going to cut a good portion off, but even using the scooping technique, I'm still bowed or humped, however you want to call it, in the middle. So, ain't nothing to it but to get back to it. Okay. I'm going to grab some shims here. And for shimp, I just use bits and pieces that cut off. I have my bar down here. I just set them in. I've seen some people make holes and pins for these. I didn't, because you never know. If the idea is to keep it parallel, well, you never know if it's going to line up where you got the holes or not. So as long as I use shims that are the same thickness of what I'm putting in the vise, I figured I would be good. And let me get this. Okay. Alright. And now let's flush down the bottom. Let's flush down the bottom. Okay. Alright. So getting flushed down at the bottom, I can see that I'm off. Now I know I'm humped in the middle, so that's what I'm going to attack first. So when you finish your cut, all your weight and pressure should be at the back of the frame. Now, if you just want to check it out without having to get out the vise, you can always just take a straight edge and see. Still slightly humped in the middle. So we'll just give it a little more. Alrighty. There. That does it. And now, double check the mold. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
No,
it didn't get me.
That's good. I got my son doing camera duty today.
Again.
And that's good. Actually, there's a little slight hollow in the middle now. But that's a good thing, because when this dries and wants to pull apart, it always wants to pull apart at the edges first. So that will actually close up. So, now that I got that done, I'll mark the faces to show how I want it to go together. That way I can't mess up and glue it up like this. Now when you do a glue up, the conventional wisdom is if you have one board whose growth rings are going this way, you want the next one to go the opposite direction. And the theory was that if they're going to hump in different directions, they'll actually pull against each other and keep flatter longer. Now I read this at least a decade ago, if not more, that they did research into that and they found that that's not the case. Me, I just go for what will look good, what looks the best. So whatever two faces look best together, and I think these two faces look best together, then that's what I go with. Maybe if you had like several planks you were gluing up, that might make a difference, but it's definitely not going to on this. So what I would do, and let me move all this stuff here.
I gotcha.
I got it, Boo Bear.
Thanks. I'll take the smaller chunks.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
And you can just set them down here.
Okay.
Those are cut-offs. These are good. I'll put these up.
Yeah. We do those like burning?
No, they're the skirting. They're what's going to fit into here.
Okay.
Yeah. No, well, pine's good for a heat fire, but it's not good for a cook fire.
Oh yeah, like your mom's chimera.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry that I'm talking a lot.
That's all right.
I'm gonna put this over here. Hey, wood pile. Oh, get your weight thing off.
I actually need to throw this away. This is my old weight belt.
Oh yeah, that broke.
Well, the Velcro won't stay
Easy pad.
stuck anymore. So I got a traditional belt buckle, one with a regular belt buckle.
Okay.
All right, next
I'm just gonna...
I lay out my clamp. Okay. 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 And now I set the one piece in like this. Alright. I like parallel clamps because they help keep everything nice and tight and parallel. Okay. Next. Okay, here we go.
Get your glue.
Yep. Take the nail out. I put this in to keep it from drying out. Oops.
Oh, I think you're gonna need a hammer for that.
Nah.
Oh.
All I have to do is pop it out. Here we go. See?
Oh. It's a good battle.
Okay.
Easy as pie.
All right, now. Okay. Once again, you want to start in the middle, because if you start at the ends, you can get a lot of glue build up on the ends, and then it squeezes out. So I always start in the middle, and then I can roll it out. And I don't have a big old glob. Okay.
That's me and my art projects. I just have big old globs of glue.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, get this. No, we're still not ready yet. Now, here's a little trick I'm going to show you. I did not tell you to get this. Hopefully I didn't put it away. Actually, I was hoping I did put it away, because then I knew where it was.
Yeah.
Alright.
Is it in here somewhere?
Hold on. Yeah, here it is. To keep the panel straight, because don't really have room to take a lot of thickness off. You take a clamp and clamp it down, and then that'll keep this flush. So then I'll move this once I get this line established. I'll clamp it. Then I'll grab my next clamp, and I'll move this until it's tight, and then clamp that up. Okay. There we go. And now I'll take this clamp off. And clamp it down here. But I won't set this yet. This is that one, unfortunately, that's going bad. But I got cranked pretty much all the way there. But I don't want it set yet. Now I'll get another pipe clamp, which I had one here. But it's just on me. Oh, hold on. Don't go swinging around. We don't want to make the people seasick.
Okay.
Okay. So it was right here, but I got other ones back here. So
I think you might have put it back, but I think that might have been that one. And then you forgot to get another one.
Okay. All right, here we go. Now, here we go. That's up a little bit. So there we go. That's nice and flush. Clamp that up. And now clamp this up. Go back through and tighten all these. And that's a really good way to keep everything nice and flush. Okay, so now, and this is going to be the bottom shelf. However, that's this exact same thing for gluing up all panels. Okay, and now I want to show you something. This, when I ripped it to 6.5. 6.5 plus 6.5 equals 13. Oh, I'm actually under 12.5. So I even was giving myself, I'm 12.5 dead there. Just a little over 12.5. And that's okay because, like I said, I got almost 8 inches to play with. So I can take 4 inches off here, 4 inches off here if need be. But yeah, you always want to really, okay, I'm 12.5. I'm good all the way through here. Actually a little bowed up in the middle so I can take some out off of there, but yeah, I'm pretty much smack on. So I'm under here, so I'll square this end up and then just take it off, the remaining length off of this end. So, alright, and then, like I said, that's how you do the panel for there. Now, the piece that I ripped off.
Over here.
Now, I can do this to get my skirting out of. And as you saw, I already have half of it cut. And that's because when I made that panel, I had that extra piece. So now the skirting is going to be 2 inches. So I'm going to set my combination square to about 2 1/8. That way, because I'm going to have to square it then. Okay, and then I just run my line down. Oops. Because I want to push it out. I've been using a marking gauge for so long. I got out of practice with using a combination square. Okay. I'll move my plane here because I was in the way. Okay. In case you're wondering, my wife and daughter are watching Young Frankenstein upstairs and the sound's coming down here, so
Yeah.
so that's what you're hearing.
Sorry.
Okay, Bubba. Alright, now that I got that marked, I'm just gonna use my hold fast to keep it hold it down. Like I said, you can use C-clamps, wooden hand screw clamps, whatever you have to fit the bench that you have. Okay, now I'll take my panel saw and I'll just rip down. Okay. And you can really hear how the pitch and the timbre of the saw changes as it moves through different material. From the knotty resonance knot to the growth rings to the heartwood and the tap. And I'm going through. Now, you can see I'm going through a knot. Okay.
Got it.
Alright, this is the scrap piece. This is the piece we want. And now, I can do one of two things with it. I can, if I wish, joint this whole long board, or since I got one good edge here, I can just cut the pieces I need and joint them individually. To do that, and that's what I did for the other ones. Just set the combination square for 2 inches. That'll be for whenever I'm done. And the skirting, I needed 2 pieces at 16.5, and I need 2 now that are at 12.5. And if that sounds familiar, that's the exact dimensions of what the bottom shelf is going to be. Because the way this is going to go together, they're going to come in like this. Okay? And so we're going to cut a miter. That's a little tight. So we're going to miter them so they come straight together. And that way you have more gluing surface and more of a surface to nail to. And it just makes it a lot sturdier inside. So, and the best way to do that is to get your miter box. Okay. Now, you're always going to want to mark your datum surface. Okay. And here. Okay. Now, I will set this up, and so it'll be coming in this way. So you can use a panel saw, or you can use a back saw for this.